day before my 29th birthday, I left a message hidden in the undergrounds of Cannes. A message to you all and to my future self. Entering the last year of your 20s feels like a milestone. You finally feel like it's time to take a look back and check your growth, your achievements, your plans that will pave the way for your 30s. I found out that processing 10 years of your life can really open your eyes to things you might have not even considered yet. I got to a deep understanding of my mentality thanks to a process that started even further in the past and consolidated during these last years. I had switched to being an extremely creative person, ranging from a variety of art styles. However, as cohesive as everything looked, I found that something broke. The 20s are the years we become adults. We set goals, start a job, deal with finance. The head start might be tough, but we also experience a sense of freedom. We moved out to chase our purpose, went living alone or with strangers, and gained some sort of financial freedom. However, as much as this freedom felt real, looking back at my 20s makes me realize how a very deep part of myself feels trapped. Mind you, it's not physical, since I finally had the power to take my own decisions and travel to the other side of the world. The part of me that feels trapped is probably the one I care the most, my creative self. Wait, how is it possible that, despite being financially stable and on the loose, I'm still trapped creatively? Because I ordered myself to reach every target I'm aiming at. When we're young, we can express ourselves freely without being tied by goals or aspirations. I mean, we do have desires, but we are literally allowed to pursue them with a light and soft mindset. Growing up, this type of mindset gets crushed by a new set of responsibilities we are forced to perceive as essential, such as career, social climb, or city survival. Our surroundings force us to set higher ambitions, also as creatives, and I found out that my own set of goals actually dragged me into a vicious cycle that led me to make art, just not for myself anymore. I literally stopped making art for art's sake. In the process of understanding the reason of it, I realized that all the goals and the aspirations that I had have become not only the end of the journey, but an obsession. Reaching your target, being praised, gaining recognition, all these aspirations literally replace the sense of gratitude I've always felt within the process of creating. And although having a target is or should be the fuel to ignite our creativity, that same target can become a mania, making our life a one-way road straight to it. In September, I had a trip planned to New York. Since I was young, New York has been, in my eyes, the place to be. And I've always wanted to see it because it's connected to many of the passions I grew up with. The admiration for this place grew to the point I decided I wanted to move there, forcing myself to expect New York to be exactly how I pictured it. This led me to being unable to appreciate what I had around me during those 10 days in the US. However, the only real flow during my stay was my mentality, which dragged on my aspirations. And if I could rewind my trip, I would try to note even more details of it. And maybe I'd loosen up a bit, getting lost in the streets of it. In the book Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie, the Lost Boys were characters depicting children who were lost by their parents and flew to the Neverland. By never growing up, they kept their child behavior, and although they had desires such as starting expeditions, being accepted, proving worthy, they never saw them as obstacles, since they were actually the very fuel that ignite those adventures. And we tend to forget we were once part of them, so I decided to find my own way back to the Neverland. Found out that I'm not really into flights because usually they don't allow you to bring valuable stuff like that stuff that smells like past memories. So when I can, I just take trains.
che non c'è.
This time, for my birthday trip to Cannes, I decided to take first class. I've never traveled like that, picturing first class as something too far from my way of doing things, more rural, almost in contrast with the people I thought I could find there. To my surprise, I found no one but a girl sitting in front of me. She looked foreign and said hi when she saw me. I felt embarrassed, realizing how real that scene looked compared to my idea of that wagon. Later on, I found out that she was used to that trail, going back and forth between Italy and France. And still, as soon as I took out my camera from the bag, I saw something brightening up her eyes. Something I experienced when I was younger, but I had long forgotten. She asked me about that camera, and I found in her a glimpse of curiosity that used to brighten up my own eyes, that same curiosity that drove Peter Pan's lost boys to their adventures. I was so fascinated by how a girl, so familiar with that trip to France, and a boy who experienced it for the first time, could share such a deep connection, getting lost in such a narrow space as that car.
Poi la strada la trovi da te.
I feel like the world thinks too much. I feel like if they just spent more time living and just not thinking, some people just need to stop thinking about everything they do and just do it.
I listen a lot to Mac Miller. I listen to him because he somehow awakens something in me, like my inner lost child. Mac Miller was a lost boy himself. His music was sometimes energetic, sometimes calm like a lullaby. I use his songs as mirrors to my own childhood, as to remind me I can still be playful, no matter what big aspirations or targets I have in my mind. And I can still cherish every little moment I spend while I'm working towards those targets.
Everything that follows, the whole idea of being a kid is like something that I feel like is really important in everybody's life, whether you're 18 or 52. The worry-freeness that like kids have is something, that I feel is a great aspect to have about you.
1, 2, 3, 4, some crazy ass kids gonna knock up on your door, so let 'em in, let 'em in, let 'em in. 1, 2, 3, 4, some crazy ass kids gonna knock up on your door, so let 'em in, let 'em in, let 'em in. I feel like $1,000,000, but my money don't really feel like I do. And from the ground I built my own damn buzz. People was amazed I was still in high school, but now I'm L. And money what I'm about, trying to get so much that I can't.
I took a look back and I realized my 20s have been my biggest journey. My introspection grew to a point that it made me analyze the world under every detail, and I loved it and hated it for that. Someone told me she loved me when I couldn't love her back, and that overwhelmed me with hurt. I delved into my mind and I found a demon lurking. I stopped trying to be liked by everyone because I only needed those few right people. I made peace with my demon and I learned to talk to it. I learned that whatever hit life may throw at me, I can still take a train back to the Neverland and lose myself again. The day before my 29th birthday, I found an art exhibition in Cannes. One of the works displayed a knot of threads where some sheets had been left hanging. In every sheet there was a message written by those who decided to share their wishes. So I left one too, and whatever lofty aim I choose to chase, I will follow this wish throughout this last year of my 20s and for all the years to come.